It is Tip FM, Owen Lonergan and it's Pimp My Garden time. Again, let's chat to Store Manager of Centenary Home and Garden Stores in Cashel, Declan Donnelly. How are things, Declan?
Very good, Owen. Thanks for having us on there. Thank you.
No problem at all. We get to the lovely prize that one of our listeners can win very shortly. But first of all, tell us where Centenary Home and Garden Stores are located in Cashel.
Well, Centenary Home and Garden are located in Cashel on the old N8 out of Cashel on the Cork side. We're just beside the Tesco supermarket and Cashel town centre there, and opposite St. Patrick's Hospital there.
It's good to hear that people were supporting and shopping local, Declan, throughout this whole time as well. Of course, lockdown kind of forced their hand, but it was good to see that they were turning locally for stores like yourselves, and long may that continue. Speaking of customers, what is the most asked question your customers would ask you?
Sure, it's a difficult one to answer, Owen, because I mean, from our point of view, we do such a wide, varied range of stuff. It could be, you could be asked for anything here in the shop, from giftware. When that comes back for sale, we sell giftware, barbecues, everything. An awful lot of questions that people ask when they come into a store like ours. It's 15,000 square foot shop. We sell a lot of stuff. Where do you find this? Where do you find that? It's a very simple question, but you know, it's an important question for the customer to get a right answer for, you know, because all they're generally looking for is a bit of help, and that's what we try to do.
For one of our listeners to win, which is the gorgeous barbecue, some of the benefits of having a product like this at home, Declan.
Listen, what we are putting up is the Outback Tango gas barbecue, and look, we've seen, particularly since lockdown, when people are at home a whole lot more, it's nice to make that extra room outside and make an outdoor room and be comfortable in it. And look, have a barbecue, fire it up. The gas barbecue is very handy. You can switch it on at any time, providing you have a full bottle of gas, obviously. You don't have to wait for it to heat up coals or heat up charcoals like the charcoal barbecue. So it's practically instant once the temperature is up, and off you go, and you can have your burgers done and your barbecue ready within a half an hour, and away you go and enjoy your time with your family, you know.
How would you protect this particular product?
Well, I suppose, look, a lot of these products, Owen, they're made for fine weather all the time, you know. Outback is a brand that's, as you can probably tell from the name, it's an Australian brand. They make a wide range of barbecues. So look, the Australian summers and the Irish summers are a little bit different, as we all know. But when you have a barbecue and you have it, the ideal scenario is, particularly once the cold weather comes and the wet weather comes, keep it inside for the winter time. Don't leave it outside the back door or on the patio or anywhere where it's exposed to the conditions. In the meantime, if you're using your barbecue a couple of times a week, definitely buy a good quality barbecue cover for it, and that'll keep the weather off, and it'll keep the rain off, keep the wind away from it, and keep the rust from setting in on it. And if you mind it, and if you look after it and keep it covered and clean it before you put it away every winter, you'll have it for years, and it'll stand you in good state.
Tell us something people may not know about your business or the product.
Sure, look, a lot of people, barbecues have come on a good bit there in the past few years. A lot of people, when they open this particular barbecue, they will ask, well, where do I put the coal? With some of the more modern barbecues, as they're moving on, you don't need to replace lava rock in them all the time. There's flamethrowers in the barbecue, and that's what spreads the heat, as opposed to the lava rocks heating up in the grill and cooking the food. So it's one plus again for it, that you don't have to go out afterwards and either be cleaning your lava rocks down, or when they're burnt out, go replacing them, you know.
Because that's the last thing you kind of want to do, isn't it? Even though it's an essential thing, if you haven't got the right barbecue, is eat your grub, leave the barbecue, and you're just hoping it's all right when you go back to cook again, which you kind of don't have to worry about the cleaning element that much with this sort of barbecue.
Well, not so much, Owen, but I suppose, like every barbecue, I suppose what a lot would say, and I know from using gas barbecues myself there, Let it run on high heat after you're finished for a couple of minutes, just to burn off any little bits of fat that's on the grills, and go back then with a stiff wire brush or something and just scrape it down, and it's ready to put in then again for use the next time, you know.
Again, one of our listeners could be winning this, all a part of Pimp My Garden here on Tip FM. One of the most useful advices you would give to a customer, or maybe to a gardener?
I suppose a lot of people are at home for more length of time now than ever before. And what I would say to people, when the weather is good, get out into your gardens. There's a whole lot going on, whether it's a small garden or a large garden. There's always little bits and pieces that can be done, and it's great for the mind. It's a great pastime to get out, buy a few plants, put them into a bed, buy a few veggies if you have a little bit of time to give into a raised bed or whatever, and you see the fruits of it. It's great to see things blossoming that you put in as a very small seedling, or you buy a seed, a bit of carrot seed, you don't even see it when you're planting it, and next thing, a couple of months later, you have it on the table, chopping it up for the dinner, and there's something very gratifying about that, I think.
Good stuff. And of course, Declan, if people want more advice on some of the things you mentioned or anything in store, you call up to a worker in Centenary Home and Garden Stores, and they'd be more than willing to help you.
Definitely, Owen. Yeah, I mean, look, what we're all about when people come in, not everybody knows exactly what they want at any time. And I mean, we're all here to help people out. Every member of staff is here, and only at the end of a phone call or drop an email or call in person is face to face is always the best way of finding information, because you'll remember it better. And look, we're here at any time if anybody needs any advice or help on anything.
Declan Donnelly, thank you so much for taking part in Pimp My Garden, a beautiful barbecue that one of our listeners could be winning here on Tip FM. Declan Donnelly, Store Manager of the Cashel Centenary Home and Garden Store. Thank you so much for taking your time to chat to us.
No problem, and thank you, Owen.